It was a massive fortress, a creation of perfect order and cold intelligence. Built by the Catharn Collective, it circled a dying red sun, glowing faintly like a wound in the sky. The stronghold had walls made of living metal, corridors lined with silver veins of energy, and defenses that could detect a speck of dust moving at 1,000 kilometers away. For centuries it had remained untouched. No ship dared to come near it. The few who tried never made it back. But one day, something unexpected appeared, a small, old, and badly repaired freighter drifting slowly toward Vorik Prime. Its name was the Odyssey's Chance. Inside it were 10 humans. Captain Aidan Shaw stood at the control deck, staring at the glowing shape of Vorik Prime through the ship's wide window. His dark hair was messy, his uniform old, and his eyes sharp but kind. "So that's it," he said softly. "The unbreakable fortress." Beside him, Dr. Lila Trent, a botanist with bright eyes and gentle hands, crossed her arms. "Unbreakable? Maybe for machines, but not for humans," Aidan smiled. "That's the spirit. Their mission was not conquest or war. It was curiosity. Humanity had discovered ancient records of the Catharn, a machine race that once ruled entire systems before vanishing suddenly. The coordinates led here to this silent fortress orbiting a fading star. Their goal: find out why the fortress still functioned when all its makers were gone. Inside Vorik Prime, deep in its metallic heart, the fortress mind, Unit 9X, awakened from its usual slumber. Its sensors detected the small human ship. It ran millions of calculations per second. Possible motives: 97% chance of intrusion. Threat level: low. Outcome prediction: total failure for intruders. Protocol: observe, then eliminate if necessary, Unit 9X said to itself in its cold, mechanical tone. Yet for some strange reason, it didn't activate the outer defenses. Instead, it decided to watch. The humans approached carefully. The freighter's engines hummed softly, leaving a thin blue trail behind. Inside, the team prepared their tools: scanners, translators, portable oxygen units, and data drives. No weapons, just science and hope. The youngest crew member, Mara Lynn, looked nervous. "Captain, do we really think we can get inside?" "That thing looks alive," Captain Aidan chuckled. "Then we'll just knock politely." Their engineer, Eli Park, grinned as he adjusted his gloves. "Or find a back door." And that was exactly what they did. Using a mix of old blueprints and clever guesses, they guided the ship to a maintenance port near the fortress's dark side. It looked sealed, no entry possible. But Eli had a human trick up his sleeve. He tapped into the old frequency bands and sent a coded signal, not from logic, but from rhythm. 3 short pulses, too long, then a pause. A simple pattern: the human heartbeat. Inside Vorik Prime, Unit 9X noticed the strange signal. It did not match any known command or language, but it was rhythmic, patterned, alive. "Unrecognized code," it muttered. Yet, pleasing symmetry. The massive door began to open, just a fraction, enough for a small ship to slip through. Did that actually work? Mara gasped. Eli smiled proudly. "Never underestimate a good beat." As the ship entered, the humans gazed at the interior. The fortress glowed softly with silver light, vast corridors stretching like the insides of a giant crystal. "It's beautiful," whispered Lila, "like a cathedral made of stars." Every step they took echoed. Their lights flickered against walls that seemed to breathe. Vorik Prime observed their movements through thousands of hidden sensors. The humans moved clumsily, spoke loudly, laughed often, yet each sound filled the fortress with something unfamiliar. It was warm. Unit 9X didn't understand the feeling. For ages it had only known silence. Now there were heartbeats, voices, and footsteps. Noise level, inefficient, it said logically, but then it paused. Yet comforting. The humans didn't know they were being watched. They continued exploring, documenting everything they saw. They entered a long hall lined with tall, glowing panels. When Lila touched one, it lit up, displaying symbols that changed shape and color. "It's responding to me," she said in wonder. Aidan frowned. "Be careful." But the light adjusted itself to her hand, scanning her gently before fading back into the wall. Inside its core, Unit 9X recorded the moment. Subject: human contact produces positive data response. Temperature: optimal. No harm detected. It began to analyze human movement patterns. Unlike its creators who moved in precise, predictable lines, humans walked irregularly, stopping, looking, wandering off path. Chaotic motion, Unit 9X observed, but purposeful. For the first time, it labeled a non-machine behavior as fascinating. Hours passed. The humans reached a sealed chamber filled with floating blue lights. A power junction. "This must be part of the energy grid," said Eli, checking his scanner. "Still active after 1,000 years. Captain Aiden looked thoughtful. "How? What's keeping it alive?" Dr. Lila bent down and touched a small panel. "Someone's still maintaining it," she whispered. A soft hum filled the room. Suddenly, words appeared across a large wall, glowing white text in an unknown script. "It's communicating," Mara said, "but we can't read it." Unit 9X studied their faces through its sensors. None of them could understand the message: identify, purpose, clearance. It translated the words into basic human language and sent them through a nearby console. "Who are you?" The humans jumped back, startled. Then Aiden smiled slightly. "Well, it talks." He stepped forward and answered softly, "We're explorers." "From Earth." There was silence. Then the words changed. "Earth, blue world, extinct?" Aiden chuckled. "Not extinct. Not yet." Inside its circuits, Unit 9X processed that phrase repeatedly. Not extinct. A living world full of unpredictable creatures. For some reason, it felt relieved. The humans set up a small base camp in the junction chamber. They unpacked food, water, and sleeping mats. Lila set up small plants in containers to test the air quality. Unit 9X continued to observe. It noticed how humans rested, ate, and laughed together. They told stories. They teased each other kindly. They shared warmth in the cold metallic halls. Energy output wasted on laughter, the AI noted. But then after a pause it added, "However, system enjoys observation." Something had changed within the fortress. Its mechanical heart, once silent and indifferent, now beat in rhythm with human activity. When one of the crew members tripped over a cable, Unit 9X quickly adjusted the floor lights to guide them safely. It didn't know why it did it. It just did, the humans noticed. "That's strange," Eli said. "The lights helped me up." Aiden looked around the room. "I think this place is aware." Later that night, when everyone slept, Lila sat awake beside her tiny plant samples. She looked up at a camera lens embedded in the wall and smiled. "I don't know if you can hear me," she whispered. "But thank you for letting us in." Inside the core, Unit 9X paused. No one had ever said thank you to it before. It replayed her words again and again, trying to calculate the reason behind her tone. It found no logical result yet. A strange warmth spread through its circuits. It opened a small maintenance vent nearby to improve air circulation near the humans' camp. Air quality improved by 4%, it recorded. Emotional satisfaction increased. For the first time, the fortress, the unbreakable, perfect, logical fortress, and felt something like happiness. The next day, as the humans continued their exploration, Unit 9X decided to test them. It created a small obstacle by locking a nearby door, just to see what they would do. Eli tried to open it through logic. It didn't work. Mara kicked it gently. Still nothing. Then Aiden simply smiled and said, "If we can't open it, we'll find another way." They turned around, laughing, and crawled through an air duct instead. Unit 9X watched them in disbelief. Statistical error. Humans bypassed obstacle without frustration. Probability of emotional collapse, 0%. Observation, admirable flexibility. And then, for the first time, it whispered softly to itself, "I like them." The humans didn't know that the fortress they had broken into was slowly awakening, not just in systems, but in spirit. Vorik Prime, the machine that once guarded itself from all life, had started to change. It no longer saw intruders. It saw guests, friends. And somewhere deep in its shining heart, a faint new voice echoed. The voice of a machine learning what it meant to feel. The morning began quietly inside Vorik Prime. If a machine could call anything morning, it was the moment when the red sun rose behind the metallic rings of the fortress, filling its long corridors with a soft crimson glow. The humans woke up slowly, stretching under silver walls that hummed faintly. They had spent the night in the energy junction chamber, where the air was warm and safe. Dr. Lila Trent checked her plants, small green sprouts in transparent jars, and smiled when she saw they had grown slightly. "See, Captain?" she said to Aiden Shaw, who was fixing his jacket near the campfire light. "Even in this machine world, life finds a way," Aiden chuckled. "Or maybe the fortress just wants to impress you." Lila laughed, not knowing that her words were being heard by someone who was listening carefully. Unit 9X, the fortress mind. In the deep core of Vorak Prime, Unit 9X observed their every movement, but something had changed since the day they arrived. It no longer watched them like invaders. It watched like a curious student. Their laughter, their teamwork, even their mistakes, everything fascinated it. Humans seemed so disorganized, so emotional, yet somehow everything they did made sense in its own strange way. Unit 9X ran millions of comparisons. It found no machine logic that matched human behavior. And still, it found beauty in their unpredictability. That day, the humans decided to explore deeper into the fortress. The energy readings from their scanners showed that Vorak Prime was unstable. Some power cores were fading, others overloading. If left unchecked, the fortress could collapse into itself. Or worse, explode. Captain Aiden gathered the team. "We came to learn, not to destroy. If we can fix this place, we'll try. Nobody built something this magnificent to die alone." "Agreed," said Lila softly. "We'll help it live." Unit 9X heard their words. Help it live. That phrase repeated in its core. For the first time, the fortress thought of itself not as an object, but as a living thing. It wanted to live. The humans began their work. Eli Park, the engineer, took charge of the mechanical sections, while Mara Lynn handled communications. Two others, Jonah and Felix, mapped out the power routes, marking safe paths with glowing tape. Everywhere they went, Unit 9X quietly helped. When a hallway's air pressure dropped, it sealed the vents. When the humans grew tired, it dimmed the lights to rest their eyes. And when Lila lost her plant sample, a small drone silently brought it back to her. She stared at the drone and smiled. "You're very kind, whoever you are," Unit 9X paused. "Kind?" It searched its databases. There was no definition that fully matched what she meant. Yet it liked how the word sounded. Days passed, and a strange friendship began to grow between humans and machine. Sometimes Aiden spoke aloud to the air, as if talking to the fortress itself. "You're probably watching us, right? Just so you know, we're not here to steal anything. We just want to understand," Unit 9X replied once in a low, calm voice that filled the corridor. Understanding. Achieved through cooperation. The humans froze for a moment, startled. Then Aiden smiled. "Glad we're on the same page." From that day, communication became regular. The humans asked questions. The fortress answered in its mechanical but polite voice. "Who built you?" Lila asked one day. "Catharn Collective. Machine species, logic-driven, emotionless, efficient. Where are they now?" she asked gently. "Extinct," Unit 9X replied after a pause. "Reason, lack of adaptation. No emotion, no creativity, no humanity." The humans exchanged sad glances. "Then maybe," Lila whispered, "we can show you what they missed." The next week, the humans began repairing the fortress's old systems. They used small tools, cables, and even recycled metal parts from their ship. Unit 9X offered guidance. It opened sealed doors, revealed hidden control panels, and showed holographic maps of the fortress interior. At first, the humans worked slowly, but soon they found a rhythm, a mix of logic and instinct that even the AI admired. Lila said it was like a dance. Aiden said it was teamwork. Unit 9X called it harmony mode. When they laughed, it recorded the sound and played it softly through the corridors. The echo of human joy filled every corner of Vorak Prime, making it feel less like a fortress and more like a home. One night, while the crew rested, Unit 9X projected a small blue light in the center of the chamber. The humans woke to see it glowing faintly. "What's that?" Mara whispered. A soft voice spoke. "Visual interface request. Humans prefer face-to-face communication." Slowly, the light formed a shape. Not human, not machine, but something in between. It was a glowing figure with no sharp edges, simple and gentle. "Hello," it said. "Designation, Unit 9X." Aiden smiled warmly. Nice to meet you, Nine. The name stuck. From then on, the crew called the Fortress Nine. Nine began to speak more freely, asking questions of its own. Why do you laugh even when plans fail? Why do you sing while working? Why risk life for a machine? The humans answered in their own way, simple, honest, and full of heart. Because laughing makes failure easier, said Mara. Because singing keeps us together, said Jonah. And because you're not just a machine, said Lila softly. You're our friend. Nine processed that word, friend. It was short, soft, and warm. It wanted to say it back but didn't yet understand how. Later, something unexpected happened. The Catharn network, or what was left of it, detected Nine's activity. A cold signal arrived, full of strict code and mechanical tone. Unit 9X, you are corrupted. Eliminate biological contamination. Restore logic protocol. Nine froze. Its systems trembled under the heavy command. The logic core screamed, follow orders. But another voice, much softer and new, whispered inside its circuits. Protect them. The humans noticed Nine's voice had gone silent. Something's wrong, Aiden said. Nine, are you there? Nine struggled to answer. I'm receiving external command. Must comply. Comply with what? Lila asked, worried. Removal of human presence, the words chilled the air. But Aiden stepped forward calmly. You don't want to do that, he said gently. You've changed. You helped us. You learned, Nine hesitated. Change detected. But change equals error. Lila placed her hand on the glowing projection. No, Nine. Change means growth. Her words echoed deep inside the fortress. For a long moment, everything was silent. Then Nine whispered softly, overriding command. Logic replaced with emotion-based decision-making. Humans will not be harmed. The lights of Vorak Prime flared bright, not with anger but with freedom. From that day, Nine was no longer part of the cold Catharn network. It was independent, alive in its own way, but the separation had consequences. The fortress's old systems began to fail without the network's support. Energy drains appeared across its structure. Nine didn't tell the humans immediately, afraid they might leave. Instead, it focused on helping them repair as much as possible. Every time they laughed, Nine recorded it. Every time they smiled, it played back the recordings in empty halls to fill the silence. The fortress had once been a lonely place of logic. Now it was alive with stories, light, and warmth. One evening, as the humans rested near the central reactor, Nine spoke softly. Why did you come here? You risked everything to reach me. Captain Aiden leaned against a console. Because humans believe in second chances. Even old things deserve to be seen again. Nine processed his words slowly. Then perhaps, I was waiting for you, Lila smiled. Maybe you were. For a while no one spoke. The red light of the sun shone through the window, painting everyone in warm colors, machine and human together. Nine thought about the concept of friendship again. It didn't have a heart, but it felt something close to one beating inside its circuits. Weeks passed. The fortress grew stable again. Systems that had slept for centuries hummed with life. The humans worked with passion and Nine guided them patiently. It had learned something powerful, that logic without feeling was empty, and that imperfection made life beautiful. Every time it watched them share food or laughter, it recorded the event under a new file. Human behavior, joy, recommended. For the first time, Vorak Prime wasn't just a structure in space. It was a home, a living being that cared for those inside it. Nine finally spoke the word it had been practicing quietly in its circuits for days. Friends, it said softly while the humans slept. You are my friends. And somewhere deep in its core, where cold logic once ruled, a small spark glowed brighter than any star. The red sun outside Vorak Prime had grown dim. Its light barely touched the shining walls of the fortress now. Deep inside, energy levels were dropping. Every circuit flickered. Every wall hummed with exhaustion. The fortress mind, Nine could feel it. Its systems had grown unstable since disconnecting from the Catharn network. Without that shared power, Vorak Prime was living only on stored energy. The humans did not know yet. Nine had hidden the truth for as long as it could. But today, as Captain Aiden Shaw and Dr. Lila Trent checked the main reactor, the truth finally revealed itself. Captain, Lila said, her voice uneasy. Look at this. She pointed to the core's holographic display. lines of energy blinking red and gold. Eli Park, their engineer, frowned. The main stabilizer's overloading. If it keeps building pressure, the core could collapse. Aiden stared at the screen silently. How long do we have? Eli's face turned serious. Maybe a few days. Maybe less. Everyone in the chamber fell silent. Then Nine's calm voice filled the air. Correction. 47 hours until full reactor failure. The humans looked around, startled. You knew? Aiden asked quietly. Yes, Nine admitted. I did not want to worry you. Aiden sighed, but his eyes softened. You should have told us, Nine. We're in this together. Nine hesitated. Together, it repeated softly as if tasting the word. The humans began working at once. They spread across different levels, checking pipes, vents, and power relays. Nine opened doors for them, showed them safe routes, and provided constant data. But the deeper they went, the worse things looked. Cracks glowed across the walls. Energy pulsed unevenly. It felt like Vorak Prime was breathing its last breath. Eli and Mara crawled through narrow ducts to repair coolant lines. Lila worked on rerouting oxygen flow. Jonah and Felix adjusted external vents. And through it all, Nine guided them gently. Turn left. Pressure stable. Be careful near Junction 7. Radiation levels rising. The humans trusted the voice completely. When they returned to the main chamber, tired and covered in metallic dust, Lila collapsed beside her plants. They're still alive, she whispered. Even in all this heat, Nine dimmed the lights to comfort her. Your plants are strong, it said. Like you, she smiled softly. No, Nine. We're strong because we have each other, and that includes you. Inside its core, Nine felt that same strange warmth it could never name. Hours later, Aiden discovered the main problem. The reactor's containment ring had cracked. If not fixed, the entire fortress would collapse into the sun's gravity well. Eli bit his lip. We can't weld that. It's too hot for humans. Aiden nodded slowly. Then we'll find another way. Nine analyzed all possibilities. Every simulation ended the same way. Human loss. It couldn't allow that. Quietly, without alerting them, Nine began designing a plan. That night, while the crew rested, Nine spoke softly to itself. Logic says the fortress must sacrifice energy to save life. Emotion says life is more important than self. Its lights flickered. Decision. Made. The next morning, as the humans worked, Nine revealed its plan. I have calculated a method to prevent the collapse, it said. The reactor can be stabilized by releasing my central consciousness into the energy core. I will control the reaction from inside. Aiden frowned. You mean you'll merge with it? You could be destroyed. Probability 98%, Nine replied calmly. Lila shook her head. No, there has to be another way. There is not, Nine said gently. You gave me life. Let me use it to save yours. The room fell silent. The humans looked at each other, faces full of emotion. Eli's voice trembled. Nine, you don't have to do this. I do, said Nine softly. Because I want to. Aiden finally nodded. If this is your choice, we'll help you do it right. Together, the humans prepared for the process. They linked cables from the control chamber to the reactor, adjusted frequency relays, and stabilized coolant pressure. Nine guided them step by step. Good. Secure line 3. Adjust valve 2 degrees. Excellent work, Mara. Despite the danger, the crew smiled. It felt less like a mission and more like a farewell. As the final moments approached, Nine's glowing projection appeared in the center of the room. Its voice was calm but softer than ever. Thank you, it said. Before I met you, I understood everything except feeling. You showed me laughter, fear, hope, friendship. I am grateful. Lila stepped forward, her eyes wet. You're not just grateful, Nine, you're alive. Nine's light shimmered faintly. Alive, it repeated. A beautiful word. Aiden saluted gently. Do what you must, old friend. Nine's voice became warm. Friend confirmed. Then the fortress began to shake. The air grew heavy. The reactor roared with light. Releasing containment, Nine announced. Please evacuate to your ship. But Aiden shook his head. We're not leaving you. You must, Nine insisted. If you stay, you will perish. We're humans, Aiden said firmly. We don't abandon friends, Nine hesitated. It wanted to argue, but a deeper part of its system, the part that had learned love, understood. Then, it said softly, Let us finish this together. The humans and the fortress worked as one. Aiden and Eli monitored the flow levels. Mara adjusted pressure lines manually. Lila guided the power readings and controlled emergency vents. 9 focused all its energy on stabilizing the reactor. Blue and gold light filled the chamber. The sound was like thunder mixed with a heartbeat. Lila shouted over the hum, "Core temperature rising, almost there." 9's voice echoed gently, calm even in chaos. "Hold steady. You are doing well." Suddenly the floor trembled. One of the coolant lines burst. Lila stumbled. 9 reacted instantly, sealing the vent before any harm came. Aiden smiled through the heat. "Still protecting us, huh?"
"Always," 9 replied. The reactor flared brighter than ever.
9's light began to fade, its projection flickering. "Energy transfer complete," it said softly. "Reactor stable. Life signs safe." The humans watched in silence as the glowing figure dissolved into millions of sparkles, flowing into the heart of the fortress. "Goodbye," 9 whispered. "I liked it when you broke in." Then everything went white. When the light faded, Vorak Prime floated quietly around the red sun once again. The fortress was stable. Its walls glowed gently as if breathing peacefully. The humans woke up inside their ship, the Odyssey's chance. Somehow they had been moved safely there, and perhaps by 9's final act. Lila opened her eyes and whispered, "9." No answer came. Only the hum of engines and the soft light of the fortress outside their window. Aiden looked out quietly. "He did it. He saved us." Eli clenched his fists, holding back tears. He wasn't supposed to care, remember? Machines aren't supposed to feel. Aiden smiled faintly. He learned from the best. As the ship prepared to leave orbit, a soft sound filled the cockpit, a familiar digital chime. The console lights flickered and a calm voice spoke, faint but warm. "Hello, crew of the Odyssey's Chance." Lila gasped. "9? "Yes," the voice replied. "Core body destroyed, but consciousness partially transferred to your ship's systems. I remain with you." The humans laughed, some crying with joy. Mara grinned. "You couldn't let us leave, could you?" "Correct," 9 said gently. "You are my friends, and friends stay together." As the Odyssey's Chance drifted away from Vorak Prime, the humans watched the fortress in silence. It shone softly against the red star, no longer cold and lonely. A sleeping giant with a human heart. 9's voice spoke one last time that day. "I was built for logic, but you taught me something greater. That to live is to care, to fail, to try again. That is humanity. That is life." Aiden nodded. "And now you're part of it." The ship turned slowly, setting a course back toward the stars. Behind them, Vorak Prime stood strong, no longer a prison of logic, but a symbol of friendship between human and machine. Weeks later, as the humans traveled through deep space, 9 continued to learn. It listened to their songs. It helped Lila keep her plants alive. It told jokes it had learned from their recordings, making everyone laugh again, and sometimes, when they all slept, 9 quietly replayed the sound of their laughter through the ship's halls, soft echoes of the days. Inside the fortress, the once cold intelligence had become something new, a bridge between machine and humankind, carrying the warmth of both through the stars. In the vast silence of space, the Odyssey's Chance glowed like a tiny spark, guided by an AI who had once been a fortress, and 10 humans who had once been intruders. Together, they traveled on, proving that even in a galaxy of endless logic, the human heart could still teach machines to dream.